Hey everyone, that's STEM Guy here. No matter where in the world your classroom is located, I hope you are having a great day. Welcome to the first of my What I Wish I Knew video series. Today we're going to be focusing in on the Marshmallow Challenge. This is a challenge that has existed for a couple years. It gained a lot of popularity, and I'm going to give you 5 can't miss tips for you if you are going to be running this challenge in your classroom or your corporate event. So, the Marshmallow Challenge is a team building engineering challenge. It uses 4 simple supplies: 1 jumbo marshmallow, 20 pieces of uncooked spaghetti, 1 yard of string, and 1 yard of tape. Teams compete in groups of 3 or more in an 18-minute time limit. This challenge is so much fun. You are going to have a blast running it. The rules of this challenge are very simple. Groups need to build a freestanding structure using only the supplies given in the 18-minute time limit. The catch is the entire marshmallow needs to be at the top of the tower. That's what makes it a challenge. So tip number 1, pre-prep your materials. Please, please, please do not start this challenge and walk around to each group trying to count out 20 pieces of spaghetti. Do not do it. I recommend using gallon-sized bags. They're the perfect size to hold the spaghetti, marshmallow, and string. I also recommend pre-measuring and ripping your tape and finding a place to hang it so that only one little edge of the tape is hanging to preserve its stickiness. I used an easel in my classroom, a coat rack, or even just anything where it will allow the tape to hang freely and not have the sticky side against something will work perfectly and will help you get into the challenge quicker. Tip number 2, stay out of the way. After you give the overview of the challenge, you talk about the rules, you talk about some tips or general pieces of advice before your group start, and you tell them how they win. When that timer starts, when those 18 minutes start on this challenge, you need to get out of the way. You are not giving instruction anymore at this point. Feel free to move about the room or the event space and comment on things that you see that you like. Question students or employees about design tactics that you find unique. Try to get a sense for their thought process, but do not give any advice. They need to figure this out on their own. You need to stay out of the way. Tip number 3, stress to your groups to use their supplies wisely. You do not get more supplies. If you use something and you don't like the way you used it, tough. That is what it is. You need to figure it out. I had a group of students in, I think it was 2nd grade, that had the brilliant idea that 20 pieces of pasta were not enough, that they wanted 40, so they snapped it in half. 5 minutes into the challenge, I see a hand go up, they call me back and they say, hey, we don't like this idea, can we get new pasta? I said, tough, sorry, you're not getting new pasta. You need to try to figure it out now with the choices you made. It's a tough lesson for kids to learn, especially our younger kids. They're gonna give you teary eyes because they balled up their tape and they want new tape. But they need to learn the lesson of conserving materials. It is such a great life lesson for them to learn in this challenge. And you have to not give in. Do not give them more supplies. Tip number 4, encourage planning. What really worked for me in this challenge was teaching the design process beforehand, not the entire design process, just step 1, the planning step. So what I did is at my lab tables, I had a piece of paper and a pen ready for every group. So after I was done giving an overview and going over instructions and rules, and they went to their lab tables, they were able to start planning while I passed out supplies. This means that they were constantly engaged in the lesson. There was no downtime where they had time to play around or lose focus. I also noticed that when I started the timer, groups continued to plan. They did not just abandon their plan and rip open their plastic bags to get their supplies. They followed through with their planning. So it's a great way to encourage students to plan, is to have materials ready for them to plan while you're getting ready to start the challenge. Tip number 5, and this is an optional tip. It really depends on the age group of people that you are working with running this challenge. I teach at the elementary level, so I had no problem giving this tip out. If you teach at the high school or middle school level, or if you are running a corporate event, you might want to hold on to this information. The tip is to manage your time wisely, especially with putting the marshmallow on top. If you put that marshmallow on top too soon, your pasta is not going to be able to hold the weight for a long period of time. If you head over and check out my Instagram and TikTok, I ran this challenge myself and I did not listen to this piece of advice. I didn't. When the timer is running, you don't really think about it. But I went ahead and put my marshmallow on with about 7 or 8 minutes left, and I expected it to hold for 7 or 8 minutes, and that is simply not going to happen. So if you're teaching younger students, it's not a bad idea to kind of let on to them and give them a little tip before they start that, around the 4 or 5 minute mark is when to start experimenting with that marshmallow and getting it on top. And if it falls, you still have time to get it up. You don't want to put it on too late, because if it falls with a minute left, you're not going to have a structure. And if you put it on too early, like I made the mistake of doing on my Instagram and TikTok, if you go and check out that video of me running this challenge, it is not gonna hold long enough. And that thing is gonna start leaning, and eventually fall. So managing time wisely is my last optional tip. So there you have it. Those are my 5 tips towards running a successful marshmallow challenge in your classroom or at your corporate event. If you enjoyed this video and if you thought these tips were helpful, please like and subscribe. I'm doing everything in my power to grow this channel and help you as a classroom teacher run STEM and integrate STEM into your curriculum, start up your lab, or just even if it's an after-school program or you're a homeschool parent, to give you ideas on how you can integrate STEM into your lessons. So please do me a favor and like and subscribe on this video if you enjoyed any of the information that I gave you. And I hope you have a great time running the Marshmallow Challenge in your classroom or at your corporate event. I'll see you next time. Have a good one.